Hi, my name is Marcos Colas. I'm from Calgary, Alberta, that's in Canada, and I'm here to show you how to use a specific plugin. This is a compression plugin, which is, by the way, free, and I highly recommend it because it's very, very good. It's very transparent. It doesn't really color the sound very much. It just uh, basically compresses the signal, which is what we want from a compressor. And I apologize for the baby noises. My niece is paying a visit. Okay, let's run through the visual characteristics of this specific compressor, which is by Modern. This is a modern Syrian compressor by Antress. As you can see here, it's developed by Antress. Uh, and we'll start from the left and go and move towards the right. This is actually a compressor with a built-in gate, which will allow to, as you know, set a threshold for the amplitude of the sound coming in. And if we want to leave out the quieter sounds from the compression process, we can activate the gate by clicking here and set a threshold in decibels, as we see here, which is the knob up here, the purple knob on top, and then set a time for the gate as well. I personally don't use the gate when I'm using this compressor because generally I don't like gating in general. I find it to be somewhat intrusive. But moving on, up here we have the threshold for the compressor itself. Again, in decibels, this will allow us to sift through the amplitude of the signal and see where we want the gain reduction, which is basically the function of a compressor to start. If we want the compression to start at 32 decibels, we would put the threshold meter at 32, the threshold knob, sorry, at 32 decibels, and everything after 32 decibels will be compressed by this plugin. Down here below the threshold in green, we find the attack for the compressor, and that's how long it takes for the compressor to take effect. In for a use for this, for example, would be New York style or parallel compression, which would have a very fast attack, as fast as possible, and it would have a relatively slow release, and we will talk about that in a little bit. Up here we have the ratio, which is by how much we're compressing the signal. Again, it has different uses. If we want to do just maybe even out the vocals, we would leave it at around 2 or 4, which is basically 2 to 1 or 4 to 1 ratio. But if we want to do New York style parallel compression, we will probably leave it at 34, or even this one has a setting called tank, which is specifically designed to do basically New York style parallel compression. Down here we have the release for the compressor, and basically this is when the compressor releases the signal from the compression process and goes back to normal. Again, some people might want to use a fast release, and some people might want to use a slow release depending on the application. Like I said, parallel compression, New York style compression usually has a very slow release. This button here in the middle is the power button, which is basically a bypass for the plugin. Uh, Usually done for A/B purposes, to listen to the difference the plugin is making in your signal. Up here we have a meter, a VU meter, to see the gain reduction rate that we have on our signal. And I'm gonna play something. It's not gonna sound on your speaker because I don't have a playback system that it's able to record at the same time, but you will able to see that it's compressing the signal. uh, as you can see, it's compressing a lot. That's the amount of gain reduction, and as we reduce the ratio, it's gonna reduce the amount of signal that is being compressed, as well as if we lower the threshold, then more signals coming through without being compressed. Then to the left of to the right, sorry, of the power button, we have a high pass filter. This is used in case we want to leave out some frequencies from the compression stage, in case we want to leave the bass uncompressed, or we want to create a filter of some sort, then we would use this. um, Up there we have, up from that and to the right, we have the gain stage, and this is the output gain, which obviously will apply gain to the signal. I usually leave it between 0 and 5, because I find that I prefer to control the gain of my channel with a fader for that track. And then this is very useful. We have a mix knob here, and this basically has 100%, which is a completely wet signal, which is a completely processed signal, all the way down to 0, which is a completely unprocessed signal. We can mix between the two, and that really creates a very wide variety of possible creative applications for this plugin. And that's basically the rundown of this plugin. It has many applications. We could use it as an insert on a vocal, or we could use it as a parallel on an auxiliary send track for New York style parallel compression. And of course, the attack ratio, release, and threshold of each application is different. But I think I've given you a fair bit of examples, and I'm sure you'll be able to figure out on your own how to use this. And I really recommend you get this plugin, because like I said, it's very transparent and it's free, so it's very, very good. And like I said, my name is Marcos Codas. I hope you had a great time learning about this great plugin, and I'll see you next week. Thank you very much. Bye bye.